Hey guys, Logan here. Welcome back to another interview. Today we are doing another iOS game slash Google Play slash Apple. And today we are interviewing Ewerton. And the game they made was Mini Game Retro 90s. Their status is released, their offer is Etron, their genre is platformer, and their tags are emulator, endless, mini games, 90s, nostalgia, remake, and retro. Basically, so far, it's just a beta, but right now it has three games that came from the 90s that came from little consoles and arcade games. The person I'm interviewing is a human, but they are wearing a mask, so we won't be able to see their face, unfortunately. But it will be interesting to see what they did when they were making the game. So I'm going to call them up to make sure their interview is okay, and we'll get right started ahead. Alright, guys, I am back. Utron is how you actually pronounce it, is definitely okay with doing the interview with me. We're going to get started with the questions now, and let's find out what answers he says. Alright, man, can you hear me? Are you ready to do the interview?
Yes, I can hear you, and I'm ready to do the interview.
Alright, man, the first question I have for you, your username is Utron, which is hard to pronounce, but my question is, why didn't you decide for your username slash author name to be Utron?
That's a good question. I admit that TB Utron would have been easier to pronounce and probably would have helped more people find my game on Steam. However, for some reason I thought Ewerton sounded more like a gamer name, and I thought people would find it more attractive than TB Utron. I guess I was wrong about that at all.
So, you said that the genre was platformer. How and why is the genre platformer?
Yes, the game is a platformer. I chose this genre because it was one of the most popular genres in the 90s, and I wanted to create a game that brought back that feeling of nostalgia. In regards to Zidane being a platformer, I thought it would be a fun and unique idea to have a soccer player as the main character in a platformer game. It's not a combination that you usually see, so I thought it would be fun to try it out.
So, one of the tags you have on here is an emulator. And we know that emulators back in the day were very popular to play the games. Can you explain what an emulator is to the young people watching this video?
Yes, an emulator is a software that allows a computer or other device to mimic the behavior of another computer or device. In the case of retro gaming, emulators are used to play classic video games that were released on older consoles or computers. They work by simulating the hardware and software of the original system on a modern device, such as a PC or smartphone. Emulators typically allow users to play their favorite old games on modern hardware without having to own an original console or disc.
So, the title you have for the game is Many Games Retro 90s. My question for you is, why did you decide that to be your title?
Yes, the full title of the game is Mini Games Retro 90s. I chose this name because I wanted to emphasize the game's retro aspect. The 90s were a time when many classic video games were released, and I wanted to create a game that captured the essence of those games. By using the word retro in the title, I wanted to indicate that the game was inspired by the style and gameplay of classic games from the 90s.
So, you put, as for now, three games onto this little device. I'm going to basically talk about the three games, and I'm basically going to ask you for each game why you made it and what inspired you to make like the three games I'm going to talk about. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with discussing the three games and explaining what inspired me to create them. Go ahead.
All right, so the first game that I want to talk about is called car racing. So pretty much you're this guy in a car, and you pretty much just gotta get to the end of the finish line and dodge the other car. How and why did you make this game, and how did it inspire you to make the game?
Yes, the first minigame is called Car Racing. For this minigame, I was inspired by classic racing games such as Micro Machines and Excite Bike that were very popular in the 90s. I wanted to create a simple but challenging minigame that would bring back the feel of those classic games. I also wanted to make a game that was easy to understand and play, so I kept the controls simple with just left or right arrow keys to change lanes. The goal is to get through all the traffic without crashing and get to the finish line as quickly as possible.
So the next game you made was called tennis. Pretty much, you're this dude. You're going against your opponent, and your goal is to not let the ball hit over your space, and you're supposed to let the ball hit your opponent's space in order to score a point and win. How did this idea inspire you, and why did you make this for a mini game?
Yes, the second minigame is called Tennis, and it's a simple one-on-one tennis game with a retro 90s style. I was inspired by classic tennis games like Virtual Tennis and Mario Tennis that were popular in the 90s. I wanted to create a quick, fun mini game that would be easy to play and understand. The mechanics of the game are simple. You just have to hit the ball back and forth, trying to get it in your opponent's court while also defending your own. The goal is to score more points than your opponent before the timer runs out.
The last game that you made was called volleyball. It's on the same premise as tennis, but instead of using a tennis ball, you and a racket, used a volleyball in your hands to face the opponent. How did this inspire you, and why did you make this for your third video game?
Yes, the last mini game is called Volleyball, and it's a fun two-player sports game in the style of a beach volleyball game from the 1990s. I was inspired by classic beach volleyball games like Top Hand and California games that were popular in the 90s. I wanted to create a simple, fast-paced mini game that would be fun to play with friends. The mechanics of the game are fairly simple. You and your opponent are on opposite sides of the court, and you have to volley the ball back and forth using your player's body.
So, for these swing games, you made a little device that you can play on, or you can play the device um, on the app or website that you made. Pretty much the device you have a button for the sound, a button for the type of game for each mini game, and two buttons to move the player left or right in order to move the player. How did you exactly make that device or controller for the game or the mini games?
Yes, the device that controls the mini games is a simple controller with three buttons and two directional keys. The three buttons are for the three mini games, and using the buttons will take you to that specific game for gameplay. The two directional keys are used to move the player left or right in each mini game. I designed the controller to be simple and intuitive to use so that anyone can pick it up and start playing the mini games without needing to learn any complicated controls or mechanics.
So, for the three mini games, you made little thumbnails for them. How did you make the thumbnails?
Yes, I made small thumbnails or preview images for each of the three mini games. I used a graphics editing software such as Photoshop or Illustrator to create simple retro style images that would give the player an idea of what each game was about. I wanted the thumbnails to be retro style, so I used bright colors, simple shapes, and a limited color palette to give the images a nostalgic 90s feel. Additionally, I added some basic text to the thumbnails to briefly explain the objective of each game.
So, in this app you have, it has ads, which is normal. But in order to remove the ads, it costs $3.99 in order to do so. Why does it cost $3.99 in order to remove the ads from the app?
I use banner ads in the app to generate some revenue and help support the development of future updates and new games. However, I understand that ads can be intrusive and interrupt the gameplay experience, so I offer the option to remove them for a one-time payment of $3.99. This price is reasonable and is intended to balance the need to generate revenue while also providing an ad-free experience for those who many other mobile apps and games use a similar model, offering in-game purchases to remove ads or unlock additional features.
Is there anyone you want to credit that helped you make the game or inspired you to make the game?
Yes, I would like to credit Godot Engine, which is the game engine I used to develop the 90s retro minigames. It's an open source engine that was perfect for creating this type of retro style game. I would also like to credit my family and friends who provided moral support and helped me test the games and provide feedback. These games were a labor of love for me, and I'm grateful for the support of my loved ones.
Is there anything that you want to add that I have not said yet?
Well, I would just like to say that I had a great time creating the 90s retro minigames, and I hope that players have as much fun playing them as I did making them. I put a lot of effort into creating a fun, nostalgic experience, and I hope that it brings a sense of nostalgia and joy to those who play it. Thank you for the interview and for giving me the opportunity to share my game with your viewers.
Thank you for doing the interview with me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm happy to do it. I hope your viewers will enjoy playing the game and that your channel continues to grow.
And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. These retro games, although there's only 3, it does bring back childhood, and these games are fun to play. And what I'm glad about it is that the creator of the game did make their own device to play the games on, which I say is really creative. And although you can only play it like on an app right now, I say this could really turn into like an actual device that you can actually sell and play on. And I hope that does come down to it because it does seem like really fun to play. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to end it there. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next interview. Goodbye.